Check, check.
Hi, Steve. We hear you. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Candace.
Hey, Mayor Williams. How are you?
Real good. Hope you are as well.
I am. Thank you so much. I am calling to order the Farragut Business Alliance meeting today, dated Thursday, April 15th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Do we need to read the, I don't know where is, there you are. I just need to make sure. Do we need to read, David, the thing for the online rules since we're doing a Zoom meeting, or is that not necessary this morning? We can't hear you.
Try the computer. How about that? That work? I'm throwing these things away. These are ridiculous. They don't work at all. Yeah, you need to state that it's a meeting for Governor Lee's executive orders, and that's all.
So this is a meeting that is being coordinated under Governor Lee's executive order during the COVID pandemic. So it will be an online meeting. If everybody could please, whoa, I don't know what just happened. There you are. If everybody could please mute their phones, that way we don't have backlash, dogs barking, all the fun stuff that we all have in the background, that would be much appreciated. Has everyone, do I need to do a roll call first? Yes, I do. So, Jim Nixon, are you here?
I'm here.
Kevin Morrison, are you here?
Kevin Morrison here.
Kirk Ligdis, are you here?
I'm here.
Tony Cox, are you here?
I'm present.
Michelle Austin, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Louise Pavlin, are you here?
I'm here.
Jeremy Kendrick, are you here?
I'm here.
Darren Talent, are you here?
I'm here.
Pam Hall, I see you're listed here as well.
Candace, she's running the meeting for us, okay?
Okay, thank you. I see Sue Stoll is here as well.
Debbie Funk is one that you haven't called, Candace.
Okay. Put her on my list. Debbie Funk, are you here? Debbie Funk, we can't hear you if you're muted.
Yes, Debbie Funk's here.
Thank you. And do we have any members of the press? I believe Alan Sloan is here from Farragut Press. Alan, if you are here, you're on mute. Trevor, how do I just continue?
I would. He's not muted. He may just
Okay.
not be right with us now.
Okay. Is there anyone else on this meeting that I have not called? If you could please state your name for the record. Okay. We have Mayor Williams and Steve Krupinski as well on this meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to look through their email and go through the approval of minutes that Jim Nixon was able to provide from our last meeting? Were there any questions or concerns?
No questions. Kevin Morrison, I'll make a motion for approval.
Mayor Williams, second.
Thank you. I will call for approval of minutes. Does anybody have any complaints? I hear the second. So Jim Nixon, approval of minutes.
Yes.
Kevin Morrison,
Yes.
Kirk Ligdis,
Yes.
Tony Cox,
Yes.
Michelle Austin, Louise Pavlin.
I abstain, I was absent.
Thank you. Jeremy Kendrick,
Yes.
Darren Talent,
Yes.
and Debbie Funk.
Yes.
Okay. So the minutes have been approved. Thank you. Next, were the financials. Was everybody able to get the complete financials and review them from our last meeting? Does anybody have any questions or concerns at this time?
Candace, this is Kevin Morrison. Just regarding the financials, pretty run-of-the-mill month that we had. I did want to call out, we did receive the $4,500 donation from TDS. So that was where the largest part of the revenue came from, booked in that sponsorship. Everything else, expense-wise, nothing really out of the ordinary.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns about the financials at this time? Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the financials?
I'll make a motion to approve Tony Cox.
Mayor Williams, second.
Thank you. So the vote to approve the financials, Jim Nixon,
Yes.
Kevin Morrison,
Yes.
Kirk Ligdis,
Yes.
Tony Cox,
Yes.
Michelle Austin,
Yes.
Louise Pavlin,
Yes.
Jeremy Kendrick,
Yes.
Darren Talent,
Yes.
and Debbie Funk.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The approval of minutes has been accepted. And now we're on to Tony Cox is going to give us an overview of the contents committee, how our Facebook and Instagram campaigns have been going since our last meeting. Take it away, Tony. Thank you.
So this is actually the quarterly report that was just provided to the town. Shop Farragut's Instagram account now has 667 followers. And I'm going to explain this. The Shop Farragut Instagram account is sort of self-perpetuating. We have, I think, a total of about 175 posts that have been made to the account by us. Everything else is being generated by users tagging and really pushing forward the Shop Farragut brand. So if I were to look at it right now, I'd just say it's there for total branding purposes at the moment. In 2021, the account has gained a net of 132 followers, and the Shop Farragut hashtag has now been used 8,048 times, and more than 7,800 of those times come from users other than Shop Farragut. So that's pretty cool to see that's grown like that. First quarter 2021 Twitter activity includes 6,355 impressions on 97 tweets, or an average of 65.52 impressions per tweet. Twitter users were engaged enough to visit Shop Farragut's profile 178 times during the quarter. Facebook is always the most active for all of our social media accounts. Shop Farragut Facebook page had 128 posts during the first quarter. The post had an overall reach of 7,356 Facebook users and 431 engagements, which users liked or shared Shop Farragut's content. The Taste of Farragut page had 3,447 impressions and 158 engagements on 83 posts. The combined impressions exceeded 10,000 persons during the first quarter of 2021. Now then, to go from April 1 until today, our Facebook accounts combined have a total reach of 10,579 people. And that's over the last 28 days. That's not a breakdown over the last 14 days. That's over the last 28 days. Most of those impressions have come since the beginning of April. That has to do with the Farragut Bridal Fair coming up and everything surrounding that. During that same time period, our post engagements have, the posts have had 1,344 engagements. On Twitter during that same time period, or at least during the month of April, there have been 776 impressions on 10 tweets. And that is my report.
Thank you, Tony. That's very exciting. Does anybody have any thoughts as to what's going on with our outreach? To see that many impressions, 10,000, I know in the restaurant business, that's a big deal. So does anybody have any comments or thoughts on what you guys are seeing in your businesses or what you're seeing around town right now in Farragut with the demographic or the users or people? Any thoughts on that?
I was just curious. This is Trevor Hobbs. I was just curious how that number of impressions relates to, the last 5 years. Is that overall increase? Are we on the high end? Is that consistent? Just where is that?
Trevor, I think if you go back 5 years, you've seen consistent growth throughout, and of course, there is the pandemic year last year, which you had to kind of completely throw out. There was no consistency to anything last year, mainly because Shop Farragut and everything surrounding the Farragut Business Alliance. Well, let's put it this way: the accounts are most active whenever there are events going on. So last year, there were no events that were taking place. And so the activity on the social media accounts kind of plummeted. And then you had to throw in the whole thing that during the 6 weeks of a shutdown from, what was that? It was the middle of March all the way through April, that businesses were closed and things like that. Even though people were consuming more information online, they were consuming things that were totally pandemic related. And during that time period, Shop Farragut was spending time posting about Farragut businesses that were open, what they were doing. It was sharing business lists. At the same time, you had a lot of activity going on through the email campaigns, as well as all of the activity that the Farragut West Knox Chamber of Commerce was doing. So I won't say that there was a lot of competition that was happening during that time period, but people were being bombarded with everything. And to be quite honest with you, I consider myself to be a typical online social media news related consumer. I consume a lot of information on any one given day, and during that time period, I actually suffered a lot of overload. I turned away from my social media accounts because of all the negativity that was going on, and I have to believe that I'm not unique in that. I think that if I were to look at a lot of peers out there, a lot of folks in our community and outside of our community, that we would see a lot of the same thing. But to get back to your original question, over a 5-year time period, you would see growth that occurs. There are going to be higher quarters that occurred, particularly when you get into the Taste of Farragut event was always a large uh, impression item. When the town has a lot of new businesses opening, and we share the content of this new business is coming, or this new business is opening, or this new business had its ribbon cutting. Those are always a lot of posts that garner a lot of attention. So anyway, that's kind of it. You could go back through the meetings and the minutes of the meetings and see how that relates. I don't have all of that at my fingertips right at the moment, but that's my explanation. I would stick with it.
No, that's good. Yeah, I, uh, I think that sometimes it's appropriate to look at specific events and see how that changes the numbers. But I'm a big believer that there's lots of, normal change in any data we have. And so what you really got to do is look at big picture and not so much the individual things. So I appreciate that explanation. If you will, indulge me for just a moment. Same question, but related to the use of the Shop Farragut hashtag. Is that overall, are we gaining traction with that? Is that catching on more and more?
The Shop Farragut hashtag, the Shop Farragut hashtag seems to continue to grow. And it grows on Instagram and also on Twitter. Of course, I don't do any type of searching for information on the Shop Farragut hashtag on Facebook. Facebook's not necessarily known as much for its hashtags. I guess I should start doing that and trying to see how that goes. I do want to throw something else out there. And I'm reading a lot of this, and as Facebook and Twitter and social media continues to grow and develop their business model, the viral effect of posts, the viral effect of those impressions and reaches and the reach will, from what I'm reading, will not see a substantial amount of growth simply because the business models of social media is the fact that they want businesses to be buying those impressions. They want those businesses to be advertising those impressions. And if you are a business right now and you do any social media advertising, you'll notice that your $15, demographically driven or area driven posts are not necessarily gaining you as much traction as they once did. And that same $50 that you spend today may not be getting you as many people or as many impressions as that $50 got you a month ago. And that's going to continue to change as well. When you again look at what the social media companies are doing. Facebook, I actually just got an email maybe about a week or so ago about our Facebook insights are changing. And I don't know if anybody else has looked at their business page insights, but there are new tabs that are set up there and new things that are going on. Again, I'm not sure how that's going to affect us as far as our post and reach, but I think that the whole push here is going to be for the social media companies to be gaining dollars in revenue and not necessarily allowing you to have a good, strong post presence to those folks that you've already worked so hard to have, like your business or like your account.
Yeah, we're seeing similar things with the town's social media accounts, Tony, and yeah, I think you're onto it pretty solid. If you will, one last follow-up question on the hashtag. What is your sense of the motivating factors for people to use the Shop Farragut hashtag? What makes them do that?
Well, we could get into a really, really long conversation about this.
Just the
yeah.
gut reaction. What's the one or two things that
it is Shop Farragut is not unique. Okay, it is unique that it says Shop Farragut, but there's also Shop Knoxville. There's and Shop Community, whatever it is. There's Shop Local. Those are all kinds of things. But I think what you run into is you run into businesses that see Shop Farragut as an opportunity to tie into an affluent community, and basically, um, I've used the word psychographics to try to describe it. It's sort of like people who don't live inside of Farragut. If you live over off of North Shore and you're just in that West Knox County area, when someone asks you where you live, you say Farragut. And I believe that there is a tendency for those businesses who want to garner just a little bit of attention from possibly an affluent marketplace. They're going to tag it Shop Farragut. So if you look at if you go on Twitter and you look at the accounts, or go on Instagram and you look at the accounts that are using, or just do a Shop Farragut search for yourself and click on a post and look at the name of the businesses that are listed there. Some of them will be Farragut businesses, some of them won't be. So again, I think it's just the whole idea of trying to reach that affluent marketplace.
This is Debbie Funk. Social media is like a huge part of my business, and something that I have seen that's helped my analytics on my business. The Farragut Press is really good at going through and sharing like some of my posts on my business. And I've noticed when they do that, my analytics go up. So the more people that you share each other's businesses, I try to do it as well. Like when the Knox Donut opened, I made a post about them opening on my account, just because I feel like if we help each other share each other's post and business stuff, it really helps the analytics. And so, to be honest, I've never thought to hashtag Shop Farragut, so I will start doing that as well. But I always do hashtag like Shop Local and those things. So, but I think if there was a way we could get it out, just telling our business hashtag Shop Farragut, it would make a huge difference, because when the Farragut Press shares mine, it really does help my analytics go up.
Debbie, can I ask you which platforms do you use?
I mostly use Facebook and Instagram. I don't use Twitter at all.
Thank you. Tony, I have a quick question for you. It's more of a, I have a sense that with this COVID, everybody kind of moved to what's close to home. And certainly residents in Farragut are discovering what's available to them here. And hopefully we're attracting, certainly stabilizing our local small business owners, but also trying to attract new small business owners to this area to eventually, hopefully, develop their businesses here. Is it just a matter of continuing to provide that supportive network, like Debbie just said, where we're all kind of hashtagging Shop Farragut and keeping that momentum going? I'm just trying to figure out, how do we tap into that energy to start attracting the small businesses that we all want to see come to Farragut?
I'm not sure I can answer that question for you. I mean, you're pushing more toward an economic recruitment question, as far as trying to get businesses to come via social media. I tend to believe everything like that tends to be a relationship, a personal relationship, someone reaching out to them and actually engaging them either in person or by phone, rather than trying to use the social media to try to attract business to come into an area. So I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer the question that you're asking there.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to get your input, and I agree with you. I think there's a recruitment part of that, and perhaps using the shop Farragut and what we have to offer for support is the extra added piece of the recruitment, establishing the personal relationship, and then demonstrating all the ways that we try to support businesses here. So I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Alderman Pavlin, this is Trevor Hobbs. If I may, I have just a little bit to share along those lines. Through the pandemic, I have personally been involved in a few groups on Facebook, and there's some real fire happening in a couple of them specifically, where businesses are actually looking for tenant spaces. They're looking for a new place to add a new location. Lots of people, I think they did not spend their vacation money the last year, and they're not looking to spend it this year. And they're realizing life is short, and they have a dream that they've always wanted to pursue in starting a business, and they're doing it. They are taking the steps. And so I've invited Steve and Julie with the chamber to look at those pages every so often, and I have made it part of my daily routine to go and look at those pages, and I'll reach out to people when they ask about, does anyone know where there's a place I can get this many square feet, for a kitchen or whatever, and I'll just straight up send them a private message and say, hey, I'm the business liaison for Farragut. If you want a couple locations, I'll tell you where they are. And I think that because there's so much traction with these specific pages, there is some opportunity to do some very effective outreach, that we don't have to do anything to generate that energy. We just need to be looking at those pages a little bit, once a day or so, and the actions there, the questions are being asked. So that's something that is sort of just happening now. It's very of the moment.
Thank you, Trevor. That's good to know. I appreciate your efforts on that part. I know that we're working on how to do a build out. We may want a separate piece that demonstrates all the support that we have in the town for Farragut businesses, people that come in and open up, and our shop Farragut opportunities, and etc. So I appreciate what you're saying. Thank you so much for your efforts.
And thank you, Tony, for your insights on the social media. We're reporting on our social media performance measures right now. And so it's on my mind about, how it's all working in the bigger picture of things. So I appreciate your insights there. You're on the right track. Keep up the good work.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for saying so. Real quick, I want to interject. I just have to say this because we're not in a face-to-face meeting, and I won't get to see Debbie after this meeting, but thank you very much for your kind words and insights there as far as the Farragut Press's impact. And I appreciate you saying that.
No problem.
Okay, I appreciate everybody's input on that fun, amazing discussion. I'm so excited to see what's happening in Farragut. It's very awesome to watch. If anybody doesn't have any more questions for Tony or anybody else on the panel, I guess we can start to Steve for the director's reports and start sharing with us about what's going on this month in Farragut.
Certainly. Just to add a little bit to the content, our website of the past 3 months kind of went down on the number of people that visited, but the irony or the disconnect is that the people who did come to our website stayed longer. We almost gained a half a page per visit over the last period of time. So interesting, and in a respect that they're not just clicking in for one thing, they're looking around our website. But we'll move on to the bridal fair, which is this coming Sunday. And we not only had our 28 people, but we now put a tent out in front in the grass area of the community center and added 2 more. So we'll have 30 vendors. Uh, uh, and it's good. It's everyone's excited about it. We move in Saturday, start putting up the pipe and drape. Vendors can drop off their items, and then open up 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, so everybody gets set up and get ready for the 1 to 5 p.m. Event. It's free to the public, and I think the activity on Facebook and Twitter is proving that out, that we might have a pretty good crowd coming over to the very first Farragut Bridal Fair. Originally, I thought about using the entire community center for this event, both like we did for the Health and Wellness Expo, but we cut it back trying to be very specific of not getting a lot of response back in January and February as the COVID numbers went up and down and around. But I've turned down at least 24 people in the last 2 weeks that would wanted to be a vendor. So we could have easily have filled up the entire building um, with vendors, and that would I'm just using that as a planning tool if we move this forward in the future. But I kept everyone's email and phone numbers, so we've got a good list going forward. Any questions about the bridal fair?
I know I had some that people were asking. I think you may have to put on mute, Steve, for a minute because I hear the echo. I'm sorry. So these vendors will be giving away um, trinkets and or information, food. Um, did you say that there was someone giving away, you were getting some kind of a brewery, or there was one of the vendors were going to be giving away tastes of alcohol or tastes of something? Is that, did that ever end up coming to fruition, or are we going to have somebody that's going to be there that has to ID with bracelets? Do I need to bring anything like that we need to protect ourselves at all from people giving away any items in specific?
We ran out of booth space, but I did not run out of parking lot space. And so there's a competition to the poor guys, a new business called Single Malt, um, single, no, Single Barrel Service. And they operate out of a trailer. They'll be pulling up in the parking lot area in front of the walkway. Um, and they will be serving margaritas and non-alcoholic versions of alcoholic drinks. They're just a poor service, and they don't. And I did not go after any kind of alcohol license in that. So there'll be a beverage service there, but it's not anything to do with alcohol, other than if you rent them for your wedding, they'll have plenty. So.
And I know that beer is considered a food product, so that wasn't an issue. But I knew we had talked about liquor, but I didn't know what exactly was happening. So we did not get a liquor license for the event, and there will not be any liquor available for tastings from any of the moonshine distilleries or any of those places that we were trying to get to join. They are not coming. Is that correct?
Correct. If we want to do that in the future, then we can pursue that. and the town has certain regulations about how liquor is done at the center too.
Okay, I guess we can move forward. Does anybody else have any questions about the Farragut Bridal Fair that's going on this weekend? I hope everyone can attend.
It has shaped up very well, and I know people are excited about it, especially the vendors. So, an update on Music Fest.
Steve, can I give you a quick question? How many of those
Mhm.
vendors are, I know that we probably open it up to local vendors first and then other people. How many of them are Farragut vendors?
Just a little over 50%. And a lot of our Farragut businesses are insurance, realtors, other non-specific wedding vendors. But the majority of the new vendors that I turned away, the majority of them were non-Farragut. In fact, I squeezed in a lady who lives in Farragut, but her business is located outside of Farragut. And well, we always have those issues. So, okay, Music Fest. Everything's moving forward quickly. Everyone's so excited to have an event that 10 bands have already committed and locked in their time slots. I've reached out and I have Shandy Dixon helping me handle all those bands and coordinate the stages for me. Shandy, of course, of Lawn Chair uh, uh, concert series fame. And the vendors, in fact, I just met yesterday with Knoxville Academy of Music right there at the West End Center, and they're thinking of all kinds of wild ways to promote their store during the event. Any questions? Part of the sponsorship money that we received recently from TDS goes to our big 4 events, and this is one of them. And that they pay once a year. Dog Days is on. I should say that I sent out a preliminary vendor call for both Dog Days and Music Fest, and they're starting to come in very well. We have at least a dozen vendors for both events. These are people that have been associated with us before, and a couple of new food truck type vendors. And well, I think that those will fill up nicely this year. Not much else to report on that, other than I'll be soliciting some more sponsorships and investment opportunities for our businesses. Knoxville TVA Credit Union has already signed up for both. And of course, we always want to thank Southeast Bank as a continued sponsor for all of our events. We'll move on to David's report if you don't have any questions. Most of my stuff is in the new business.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Does anybody have any questions about the upcoming events?
Steve, can you mute? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so that
Candace,
takes care. Yes, go
Can
ahead,
I-
Louise. I'm
Now
sorry.
that Steve has mentioned Southeast Bank, Herc, are we seeing a lot of interest in investment by small business owners for loans and build outs? Are you seeing any activity that way? Maybe. I think he's doing something else, maybe. I don't know. I'll reach out to Herc separately.
Okay, and again, like I've said before in previous meetings, I'm seeing a very large influx of people from other states coming to the restaurants, meeting with real estate agents, asking about businesses. And I can't wait here in a minute, new business, to go through the Farragut Business Development Guide and give a shout out to Trevor because I'm really impressed with that. But I guess we'll go on to the Town of Farragut report with David and get us up to date on all this development and tractors everywhere and sidewalks and what's going on.
Well, I'm going to ask again. Can you hear me now? Yes? Okay, good. I'm having technical difficulties with my computer, and it's been a constant issue, but I got it going now. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the Board of Mayor and Aldermen is currently going through the budget process. We've had multiple workshops on various issues throughout the last couple of months, and we'll continue to do that. But I plan on getting the budget to the board, a draft budget to the board at the end of April so that they can start reviewing that, and then we'll have our public hearing process throughout the month of May. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. Our budget does look in good shape, and I'll end on some good information here at the end. But construction underway. We do have a lot of it. As you drive around town, you can see the things that are happening. It's pretty exciting. The villages of Farragut over on Watt Road and Kingston Pike have multiple multifamily project along with commercial project going on. They'll be working on that for the next year, so that's underway. We've got the Top Golf project up on Outlet Drive. They're beginning to do some grading work out there, so that's getting underway. We've also got some work at the Admiral Road and Kingston Pike intersection right there. There's a commercial project that has been approved by the Planning Commission, so that's getting, you can see the trees coming down and the grading that they're going to have to do to get that project going, because it does sit down off the road quite a bit. So quite a bit of dirt they're going to have to haul in for that, but that's getting underway. So a lot of great progress being made and a lot of new projects that we see throughout town. We've also got a ton of housing projects going on right now all throughout town. There's a lot on the Planning Commission's plate here in the next couple of months to deal with some more projects there. In fact, on tonight's Planning Commission meeting, they'll be looking at a site plan and grading plan for the town center at Biddle Farm. They're going to be looking at the Aldi project as a first phase, and then grading of the site. So I think they want to come back pretty quickly and do the rest of the site and get it approved. But they're going to be coming tonight to talk to the Planning Commission about that. And then there's a couple of rezoning requests, both one on the Ford property and one on the Horn property. The Ford property is a multi-family and also a commercial type project, and also the one on the Horn property, which is north of the old Ingalls building, is just multi-family project. Both of those have some issues that we've been talking to the applicant about, but Planning Commission will deal with both of those tonight. So on a real positive note is our sales tax revenues. So we went about 8 months starting in January of last year of negative sales tax growth month over month. Then around September of last year, that started to shift, and we started to see a positive come up. So we've had 6 straight months of positive sales tax returns. When I looked at Christmas, we had a better Christmas this year than we did last year. So it's showing that even in the middle of this pandemic, we're actually doing better sales in the town of Farragut than we did the same time last year pre-pandemic. So that's very encouraging. In fact, we have sales tax through the end of February so far this year, and our fiscal year, starts in July 1st. We're 7% up over where we were last year. So that's very, very positive. And right now, year-to-date sales tax is a little over $5 million for the town. So if we can continue that trend, which I think we should be able to, since the next few months of our fiscal year would have been the start of the pandemic of last year. So I certainly hope we'll be able to beat those numbers that we had in, March, April, May, June of last year, heading into the end of the fiscal year. So all of that is very encouraging. And I think what it's showing is, I know I drove out to Turkey Creek a couple of weekends ago on a Friday night, and every restaurant looked like it was absolutely packed. I took off to go on a hike one Saturday morning early a couple of weeks ago, and as I'm driving down I-40, I just saw every hotel look like it was packed. So it was Easter weekend, probably a lot going on with Easter, but still, all of that's encouraging signs, and hopefully that continues in a positive trend. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody on the FBA has any.
David, I don't have a question for you. I do have a question for Darren now that you've mentioned that. Darren, are you guys starting to recover a little bit? Are you seeing some of your business travel coming back, or is that still really lagging?
Yeah, so business travel, I would say, is still lagging, especially from like a large corporation travel standpoint. They're still kind of working everybody remotely, but some of the sales folks are starting to come back slowly. Self-employed people are starting to come back, hitting the road during the week. Still definitely far away, but the weekend demand since probably middle March has picked up significantly. I mean, we're staying pretty full on weekends. That's been the trend for the past 4 weeks or so. So definitely moving in the right direction. Still need that business travel to fully come back, I would say, before we're back to, where the hotels are at a healthy point, occupancy-wise, middle of the week. But weekends are definitely looking better. People are out and about, wanting to get out and do things. Obviously, spring break has been a big travel point for us in the past couple of weeks. So hopefully that continues with summer vacations and everybody using cars and, using the interstate and drives by Farragut and Knoxville. So yeah, it's definitely moving in the right direction. So we're excited.
That's good to hear. I'm relieved for you all. So yes, would love to see that business come back, because I know that's your bread and butter, and hopefully we'll be turning the corner on that soon. But thank you for the update. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David, for sharing that report. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts? Mayor Williams, would you like to say anything at this time?
Yes, I guess so. I have been sending out TML reports as I get them to most everyone. If you're not on the list and you want to be on the list, please let me know. I don't know if I've got everybody, but being one of the vice presidents, I get a lot of stuff that I've been sending out. Also to report we learned this morning, of course, we'd heard this last week, but the Economic Development Board, Knox County, will be folded into the chamber. They will be. You'll see that particular board that has a lot to do with industrial parks and business parks. Also, they are the ones that's involved with TIFs and pilots. All this will be folded into the chamber, and with Mike Odom being the head of the chamber. That was announced this morning. Todd Napier will be still involved, as will the rest of the staff. And this is something that's kind of new that's happening. This is something that Mayor Jacobs has pushed, and so that's I guess a little bit of news. That's all I have.
How does that impact Farragut? Are you concerned or happy, or what are your thoughts on that change?
Well, it's a little premature to say that there's a concern. I'm not sure how it would affect businesses and as far as our businesses, but it would possibly have an effect to any pilot or TIF that might be presented. We don't know that yet, but that's still something that the whole organization will probably happen sometime at the end of the year, the changeover. There's huge amount of work to be done to make this, to fold this into the chamber. And fortunately, I will not be involved with it. They'll have staff that will, and but we're not sure exactly how it's going to affect us yet. On the positive side, it will kind of put a focus on from the chamber and the and Todd's group to bring in new businesses, whether they're buying property in one of the business parks or industrial parks or not. But I think it will be better staffed. Todd's always been on a shoestring and short staffed. The chamber is better staffed, and I think you'll see a more of a consolidated effort with this. You'll see more working together type of, where before they were not so much, because there was really two different focuses. Now it's one focus. So I think it'll help in that respect.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so at this time, does anybody have any thoughts on that? I know Steve is going to start talking to us about some of the new business on the agenda that we need to get to before our meeting ends. Steve, would you like to take it away if no one has any more questions?
Okay. The first thing is a kind of a program with WATE television. They not only approached me, but approached several entities here in Farragut about getting businesses involved in a program that they call Deals and Steals, which is a way of getting on television and showing a product or your services in an interview during their East Tennessee Living show, which is, I believe, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so they came at me with this. It was really convoluted in how they wanted to get people involved in it. And after thinking upon it, I thought, is there a way that Shop Farragut could get involved with it and also extend our brand at the same time? And it was kind of expensive, but most television advertising is expensive, especially for small business. With this program that I sent you a little one sheet on, the idea is to take 3-month period and feature 3 businesses and try to break up that dollar amount. They needed $1,800 a month to produce the segment, do all the promos for all the businesses. But with 3 businesses, $1,800, it makes it affordable at about $600 a month. And with featuring 3 businesses, you can get a 3-month bang out of it. What I'm asking the board is that if it would be nice, and Shop Farragut take the lead, if I offered $100 a month to each of those businesses, our investment would be $300 a month, $100 taking care of their $600 commitment towards their $600 commitment, to make it only $500 a month for at least 3 businesses as we move forward, just to support them to get that on TV, and also have the Shop Farragut logo featured at each time on television, on local television. So it's just a way of, right now I'm out there, buying a few gift cards that keep the town sampler contest moving along, which is doing great. And I also purchase branding ads in the Farragut Press and on the radio, that I thought this might be a nice way to get businesses involved and on TV. And for $300 a month, keep the Shop Farragut brand to a broader audience. So, any questions about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm looking at our financials, and it looks like the shop Farragut, as far as expenses for advertising, the shop Farragut has spent a little over $1,000, according to March 2021. Are you wanting then to consider, well, the total shop Farragut? So I'm assuming that's also the bridal fair, right? So that's 2,700. Are you wanting to possibly consider $300 of this shop Farragut investment to be added to that advertising expense for this campaign? Is that your thought, Steve?
Well, this would be a new avenue for the expenditure in the shop Farragut category. Um, I just feel that, from time to time, we do make expenditures to give an overall opportunity to all the businesses. Um, and like, for example, when we do the coloring book at Christmas time, that's a $3,000 investment on our part to help produce that tab and reduce advertising costs for local businesses who want to take part. Now
So it's 3 hours past closing
and so this would just be a new way of getting our small businesses involved in something that they probably wouldn't do. Um, if I don't know if there's a small business person here that wants to tell me $500 for 3 months, that's $1,500, but you get on WATE TV and you get that whole package of promos and 15-second liners and all of that, plus you feature your product on TV. Is that worth it? I think it's nice to get the Shop Farragut brand out to a further audience. And we rarely do TV. I do a lot of cable, as I did with the Farragut Bridal Fair and our events. I'll do a cable ad, which really is centered in the Farragut TDS area. But of course, WATE goes all over their viewing area.
Louise, I know you're a small business owner, so
Yeah, but ours
but
is
I
so.
would be, I'd be
Go ahead.
ready.
We
No, I know it's a great deal because I do television, and that is an amazing deal. I guess my concern would be, I love the shop Farragut. We'd have to make sure the businesses that take part, if we're going to support them, are obviously operating in Farragut, and the sales tax revenue is going to Farragut. So there'd have to be some kind of protocols to make sure that we were actually using shop Farragut businesses. But then again, I think it's a great idea.
And I'll just add my 2 cents for our business. It's so local. For Anytime Fitness it's a fitness facility. It really captures the 3 to 5 mile radius around us. So WATE certainly wouldn't really work for us. But that's a very specific business, the health clubs. So someone like Candace's business, which is a destination, I think our small businesses could really benefit from that. So I think that's a good idea if we can get the small businesses involved that could benefit from that.
Well, my idea was to put the carrot out there, just take their $600 investment, make it 500, and allow Shop Farragut to show that we're helping support our local businesses and get our brand out there. We can have them put our little hashtag in the corner of those promos for Trevor.
You may have mentioned it. What was, I guess, what was the process for sort of selecting the businesses that would participate in this?
I would put it out there like I did with the display cases. I would put it out there on a first come, first served basis. Do a blanket email that people have the opportunity to respond to, and then just put them in order. They plan to keep this campaign going on for quite a while, and they came to Farragut first, and they wanted to branch out more, I guess, in their business sector at the station. And I think they also talked to the Department of Parks and Rec here and visit Farragut too. But that's obviously a business effort.
Hey, Steve, Tony Cox.
Yeah.
I want to interject because I think maybe some other board members are not looking at this the way you're intending for it to be looked at. What I understand, or the way I would interpret this, is for $300 a month, Shop Farragut's brand is going to get television exposure through WATE. Not necessarily that we're offsetting advertising costs by $300 a month. What we're doing is we're co-opting advertising to further the Shop Farragut brand, rather than any one particular business taking advantage of it or being given an extra benefit or things like that. We would be spending $300 a month, or a total of $900 for that WATE segment to be able to have the Shop Farragut brand exposed. I think that's really the way that you have to look at this, not necessarily looking at this as somebody's going to get $100 of extra value to it. If you put it out on a first come first serve basis, that just makes it fair for everyone. But realistically, you have to remember, Farragut Business Alliance is an entity as well. Okay, Shop Farragut is how we've identified ourselves, and so $300 a month television advertising is a really cheap way to do $300 a month, or to get a much larger exposure. Just my 2 cents.
And I agree. I'll put the $100 out there basically to entice those small businesses to take advantage of it, but it's really about Shop Farragut getting known to the greater community.
Hey, Steve, do you know if I know when I've done television marketing myself, they come in, they do the commercials, they shoot, they do all that. Do you know if there's a way that Shop Farragut, that we could do some kind of campaign, or maybe you and I can meet with them, and anybody else on the board who would like to be in that meeting? Is there a way that we could do I know you're getting ready to talk about the jingle, but is there a way to utilize maybe something like this with living East Tennessee with and do a Farragut business? So it wouldn't just be 3 businesses, it would be 9 or 12 or 10, kind of what Sue and her team, Karen, was able to do with the tourism. Is there a way that we could work with WATE to make this more of a Shop Farragut campaign instead of just businesses, or is that just something that's way too big and we're just not going to go there?
Well, it you're asking the big question there, and that's really something out of the realm of what these sales reps were trying to do. Um, we can certainly do that, and I'm sure they'll listen to something along those lines. I think any station would. Um, if we have set aside X amount of dollars to produce something that big and put some dollars behind it for a period of time. I'm not prepared to go farther with that right now. But I thought this was a little steps for little feet approach to getting the word out, and it's within the framework of a campaign that they had put together. So, yeah, I think if we want to put a little committee together and discuss a bigger picture like that, I think we certainly can do it. And it doesn't have to be associated with just that East Tennessee middle of the day program. You have the dollars, you can go into any time slot you'd like to, I think. So is there any Any opposition to me moving forward with this and trying to see if businesses are interested? The next new business item is the idea of creating a presence once again for Shop Farragut in that we do enough advertising, especially on radio and other areas where we could create a jingle. And I've been looking into and asking around about what it costs to have a jingle for Shop Farragut. And different firms do this, and they do it at different ways. But you can get something decent, at least starting at about $1,500 to go to the limit. But I was looking in that $1,500 to $2,500 range to have one that's produced and that's reproduced and given to you in such a way that it can be used on multiple platforms. Um, even if you clicked on our website, you can hear the jingle as you come through, and all the way to add it as a tag in all the commercials and other activities that we do. That Audible can be used. So Tony helped me with that a little bit and got some quotes, and I got some quotes from Cumulus Radio people. So anybody have a feeling about a jingle or not?
I think if it's good, it's wonderful. If it stinks, it's terrible. That's my only opinion about jingles.
You don't know until you try, though.
Steve, I just wondered, I've been involved with jingle competitions in the past, and you can usually pay someone a little less for their jingle if you do a competition than if you just pay a company to do it. Have you ever considered having, put that out to the community at large, let them submit their jingle compositions, and then you just pay them directly for it?
Hey, I believe we have Music Fest going on where we're going to have a stage. Would that be something fun, Steve?
What, to announce the competition, or actually have people come up on stage and
Yeah, to
perform?
have a competition between the hours of blank and blank when the bands are taking a break. We could, people in the community that had their ideas, if we used Farragut Press and made that as an opportunity. I remember we did that open mic thing back pre-COVID that was a huge hit. So, I mean, is there a way to utilize, since we already have the stage and we already have the platform, is there not a way that we could do a jingle competition for the community? I think it would bring more people to the Music Fest.
I'm not sure that Music Fest is maybe the right venue for that, but um, I could talk with Sue and use. I could see a jingle competition where you've got people lined up and everything, and use the community center in some way, especially the assembly room, which has music associated with it already, where we could rent that space and turn it into an exciting evening. Um, and but I'm not against the competition. That might be a lot of fun, and we definitely get some press out of it. Tony, who would be the judges?
I say Mayor Williams can be a judge.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'll explore it along those lines. It was just an idea that came up, and as we try to push the Shop Farragut idea, this is just another way to do
Steve,
that.
can I interject? This is Tony. I didn't have my mic on, and I apologize. I I'm going to put it out there like this. There's a reason that you hire professionals to do things. First of all, they're qualified to be able to do it. Uh, Putting together a competition to do it, my opinion, is a whole lot of work and a whole lot of effort. Going through and understanding how the jingle companies do it. The jingle companies will actually put together, I believe, the one that I didn't do this as a for-profit thing. I sent Steve the contact and everything else like that, and said you can work directly with them. Um, it's their package actually sends you back 2 or 3 different styles of music beds to go with it, so that if you're using it across different platform or different types of demographics or different types of formats, you're able to match it up. They send you back 9 different cuts, and they are professional about what they're doing, and they do it quickly and they do it efficiently. And they also, don't have a charge to you, as I understand it, until you're satisfied with what they've done. And I'm assuming that that's the way most professional jingle companies would work. And as much as I love the local talent that we have here, I really, really do. I'm good friends with a lot of them. Um, I think trying to organize some type of jingle competition would be something that's above my pay grade. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay, I guess more discussion is needed. I'll come back to the board at a later time with that. The last item I have here is one that affects the mayor directly and myself many times. And I had brought this up a while ago, that our Thursday morning meeting of the sometimes uh, conflicts with chamber activity and other meetings. And I believe moving forward, the mayor will have a permanent uh, conflict uh, with his responsibilities on making this meeting, and wondered if we could look at another date, a day of the week, uh, as we move forward in the monthly meeting. And
Is that something that we would probably need to vote on, I guess, before we decided to do that? Because I'm open to Tuesday mornings as well. I don't know about the rest of the board. So is that something I would need to do a vote on and call, or are you posing the question now for something we need to think about starting July or starting August? What are your thoughts?
Well, we have the opportunity here, if the everything doesn't go to heck again, but to meet in person next month, May. We could move to that meeting, which on May 20th, and everyone have looked at their calendar to see which day of the week is best for them. And then we can probably vote in person at the May meeting and decide on a new day of the week. I know that the mayor has suggested Wednesday. I know that Tuesday you have the visitors meeting. Usually it's Tuesday mornings. We just have to find out which day of the week and which week of the month that makes sense for everybody. And so we have a very good showing of board members today. So if we put that on our own personal agendas to have ready to go at next month's meeting, I think we can come up with a good suggestion.
And David, am I correct that the mayor alderman meetings are always the third Thursday? So if we decided to do the second Tuesday or the second, or something like that, is that something that's already set, right? Every third Thursday is the mayor alderman meeting. Is that how that's already set up?
Actually, the third Thursday is Planning Commission meetings, which both Mayor Williams and Vice Mayor Pavlin are part of. Our Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings are on the second and fourth Thursday of the month. So basically, you got second, third, and fourth Thursday of the month where we have some type of board meeting or planning commission meeting for our board members. I think the mayor was mentioning to me just yesterday about Wednesday morning seemed to be a pretty good time for his schedule when it comes to meetings. We do have some random Tuesday morning meetings, as Steve mentioned, with the tourism committee, but those are set on our calendar page. So I think we can work around some of those dates if we just do it the right week of the month. Shouldn't be an issue. Usually the first week of the month for us, just from us, is a pretty good week, but I don't know how that is for the rest of the committee.
Mayor Williams, the Wednesday was a suggestion, but another Thursday is the first Thursday of the month. That is a really open for me and most all of the staff. I guess we just don't have anything on the first Thursday of the month, morning wise. And Tuesdays we do have the tourism. We also have staff developer, which is usually on a Tuesday morning as well, and that starts at 9 o'clock. So, it's
the first Thursday of the month is very good in many respects because of a lot of the meetings take place later in the month with different organizations because of the financials. Financials for the Farragut Business Alliance are never earth-shaking. I mean, we go through some tight periods of times, but usually our treasurer's report are not long drawn out things. And I can send the financials out later, but the financials would not be ready by the first of the month. But any one given month isn't going to, be earth shattering. So I'm saying that the first week is probably a good time to consider.
Everyone, this is Herc. My suggestion would be, because obviously trying to coordinate a date change via a number of people, on the phone would be a challenge. I suggest you just look at a couple of dates and make some recommendations by email and let people respond. And then with this many people on a board, there will always be conflicts. It's probably highly unlikely we're going to find one date on one week that works for everyone perfectly. So that would be my suggestion, is via email, just put out a recommendation, whether it's the first Thursday of the month, the second Tuesday of the month, the third Wednesday of the month. Put out several dates, let everybody look at their calendars and make a determination of what makes the most sense for the most people.
Very good, Herc. In fact, everybody can email me directly and I will compile that and have it ready.
Mayor Williams, if this don't work out, we can leave it where it's at, and after I will not be able to attend meetings in the future, and y'all can just send me the minutes, and I can read up on that. So, but you can leave it where it's at if it's best for everybody.
Well, the only time we have really have achieved 100% attendance is during Zoom meetings. That's in my 4 years or so with the FBA. So I think that a move that can accommodate the most people it'll be great. So.
And I know that some meetings are going to continue. So some of the other boards that I'm on, they're going to start in-person meetings, but they're also going to make it available via Zoom. Is that something going forward that we're going to do, or is it only going to be in-person meetings starting next month, and any of the board members will not be able to be a part of the meeting unless they are present in person? How are we going forward with May's meetings for people that will not be able to be there in person but can attend via Zoom or Trevor's Cisco meeting? What's the plan for May?
Candace, this is David. The governor has not come out with new guidance yet. His current guidance and current executive orders end on April the 28th. Now we kind of are getting the sense that he may not extend the meeting, virtual meeting, the same way that we're doing it right now into May. However, he could still modify that to allow some kind of hybrid meetings if need be. So we just don't know yet. I'm sure we'll get a lot more guidance in the next week or two, and we'll be able to get that to you as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Steve, do you have anything else? No? Okay, I was able to talk to Trevor about this before the meeting started, and I just wanted to bring everybody in. Trevor has worked on the Farragut Business Development Guide that he is currently drafted, and it is available, and he's bringing by several businesses in the area. I was reading it last night at the restaurant, and it is very thorough and informative. I was very impressed, and I really appreciate the work that you did on this, Trevor. If anybody wants a copy of it or they would like to see it, he is currently making some revisions before it actually goes to print. And I would encourage you to reach out to Trevor or the town of Farragut and take a minute and look over this. It answers a lot of questions that I'm getting at the restaurant from people that are moving here from other states that want to open a business. He's done a very good job at answering some of those questions, licensing, what's the chain of command, how do I go forward to open a business in Farragut. And I just want to say, Trevor, thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Candace. And it is a very good guide. It's very well done. You are correct on that point. I'd be happy to give a copy to anybody who wants to take a look at it and give feedback. After sort of all that's done, then I hope to give it to Wendy to sort of design a little bit, add some color maybe, and then we'll start handing it out. The intent is to be able to make copies in-house and not have it, in large boxes that anytime we make a change, become obsolete, but that we can just make copies as needed. And I can make a stack of 100 and go give them out any day someone needs them and give them out like candy.
Can I make a key point on this? And I think Trevor has done a great job with this, but it's still draft mode on this, and we have not got a final, as Trevor said, pretty design on it and everything else. So I know many times the press likes to jump on this and put it in the paper. We're still working on it, so I'd appreciate it if you give us just a little bit more time to get that finalized before we get anything out there officially to the public, but it should be pretty soon.
And I also understand, Trevor, that you have included the businesses while you have been drafting this and the revisions. They need to, if they have concerns or questions while you are coming to a finished product, they need to email you directly. Is that the best way to get in touch with you going forward before we make our final business development guide?
Yes, I'd say anyone who has, general or specific feedback to after having seen the guide, or other just their general thoughts if they haven't seen it, have ideas for what it might need to include, get with me directly. Anyone who ends up getting a copy, obviously, I would think, feel free to mark it up, make comments in the margins, scratch something out if you think it needs to be removed, and you could just give that back to me, that hard copy, whatever's easiest. Generally speaking, I'm looking for all sorts of feedback. If there's a topic that's not addressed that you feel like needs to be addressed, I can add it. If there's specific language that you think might sound better a different way, I'm happy to add that. And yeah, and any feedback at all is welcome.
Okay, so if there is no more items to be discussed or talked about, I know our next meeting is Thursday, May 20th. It is currently set to go live. That is correct, and that will be at the Farragut Town Hall. That'll be at 8:30 a.m. At that time, we'll be talking about the monthly meeting. We'll get together our agenda going forward, discuss more about the jingle, and hopefully everybody will be able to make the meeting in person, and we'll continue on with the business of Farragut. If at this time there's not any questions, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Kirk.
Second, Louise.
Thank you, everybody. You guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.